Hi everyone, welcome to the Knitting Den. It's episode 160 and today is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, as everyone likes to say, or Star Wars fans like to say. Today is Monday. It's the beginning of a brand new week and it's really a brand new month. What happened to April? I can't believe it's May already. What happened to me last week? I did not record. I'm sorry. It wasn't intended, it just didn't get done. But I'm here now. Did you miss me? I really missed you guys, but the week was a bit, well, I wouldn't say crazy. It's just hubby was off on Wednesday, so I didn't record. And then Kiki was off school on Thursday, so I just didn't record. And then Friday, to be honest, I didn't really feel like recording, so it didn't get done. Sorry. Bindi, I'm not letting you out. Alright, before we get started, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Denise. If you're watching for the first time, hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And if you're watching for the second, third, fourth, millionth time, welcome back. You got your cuppa? I'm going to tell you what's in my mug in a minute. But let's see, what shall I start with? It just feels like it's been forever and it's only just been a week since I recorded. But yeah, that's life. Hopefully it won't happen too often. It's very rare that I don't record. Just one of them weeks. I have to admit, I've mentioned this before and I'm not going to go on about it all the time, but you know, hormones and all of this stuff, it's not easy some days. Honestly, I'm having a hard time, so I don't want to bring too much negativity to this podcast because this is my outlet for just sitting down and relaxing and having a good chat and an enjoyable, happy chat with you guys. So suffice to say that as well as hubby and Kiki kind of being off and disrupting my week a little bit for recording purposes, there's some days that I'm just struggling with. No, I'm not letting you out. But nothing major, it's just, you know, I know where it is, it's just hormones. There's some days I just find it a little bit hard to smile. Sad to say. But I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm here now. I got me cuppa. And oh my gosh, you won't believe what I've got here. Oh my goodness. Hang on, I'll put that down. Seriously, green Kit Kats. I had heard of these. These are little itty bitty ones. Can't read anything on the box other than Kit Kats, of course, Nestle's, but any of that. Anybody know what that it says? I'm assuming it says something like matcha. No, matcha. It's matcha, isn't it? Green tea. I think these are matcha, a green tea flavoured Kit Kats. And I had heard of them. Someone mentioned sending them a little while ago, but I hadn't heard anything, and that's okay. Bindi, I don't want to let you out, it's so wet, but unexpectedly I got a little package last week. Look at this tiny baby thing. I've had one, I've been really good, I've been keeping them to sit down and have with you. I'm going to try and describe the smell and even the taste. The smell, it didn't smell anything like tea. To me, will you just hold on a minute? Miss Interrupty here is bothering me. Sorry about that. I've let her out on her perch. It's not raining right now. It has been, it's quite dull and it's a bit damp, but we haven't got rain yet, so I've let her sit outside. And meanwhile, I was trying to explain what this smelled like and tasted like. I'm having a nibble already. I wouldn't say it smells like tea. It reminds me more of white chocolate, but not exactly chocolatey taste, smell either. Very strange, very unusual, but awesome to actually experience a green tea flavoured Kit Kat. Anyway, so what are you nibbling on? And what's in your mug? Hang on. Lots of unusual flavours today. I have, look at this. I'm trying strawberry and chocolate tea. Isn't that, I love the little packet too. I was sent this a week or so ago actually, and I always think the tea smells more, you can smell the flavours in, I can smell strawberry and chocolate more in that than I can once the water's on it, but they're quite nice. And my sweet friend, I'm going to try this one too at some point. I also got this one in my little card to try. Isn't that nice when you can get these little different flavoured tea bags, and you don't have to actually buy a whole box yourself just to give it a try. And it was sent in this adorable, beautiful little card. I get a lot of these gorgeous handmade cards from my pen pal. Thank you. Love it. All right, I'm popping that last bit in my mouth. And I'll show you the rest of the stuff that came with this little package later too. And thank you to you too for sending it. So what's in my mug? Strawberry and chocolate tea. Where am I today? Where in the world? Well, you can see I'm home. I'm in Colorado. And I did make a note of a few little facts of our state bird and state flower and state other stuff. So the state bird in Colorado is, and let me put that down, I did get some pictures up on images on Google when I just look for his name. It's the lark bunting. There he is. Little black and white kind of bird. Not that little, I should say, but a bunting. And have I seen one around here? No, never ever seen one. We've been here nearly 3 years. Haven't seen one of these birds, but that's the state bird. I'm going to have to look out for him now. Maybe he is out there and I just never noticed. I'll tell you who is out there this week. The hummingbirds are back. Poor little guys, I hope we don't get any snow. We've put our feeders out yesterday. In fact, I can hear them. You might not be able to. Every time I hear a whistle, that is the hummingbird here. They're quite noisy little things. So that's the state bird. The state flower is the, I don't know if it was Rocky Mountain, but it's the Rocky Mountain columbine. And again, there's different colours. I think, from what I was reading, the purple and white one is designated to Colorado. But there is obviously, as you can see, other colours and different shades of purple and pink kind of thing. So that's more pink and yellow. So that's very pretty. And then I'm actually trying to scroll up my notebook like I do with the iPad. Oh yeah, I'm back. The state. Oh, actually, here's the thing. The columbine. It's a member of the buttercup family. And I'm going to have to put in buttercup now, and because buttercup, it reminds me of childhood. It's the kind of flower that would be growing in the grass with little daisies when we would be in, fields playing when we were kids. I don't know why she's coming up. She's obviously called Buttercup. She's one of the. Is she a little power puff girl or something? I don't know. But this is the buttercup. And what it reminds me of, we would actually make little headbands like we did with the daisy chains, and we also used to hold it under our chin. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but how it would not be this. We used to say, "Oh, do you like butter?" And if you held the buttercup under your chin and it was yellow on you, which obviously would be, I mean, it's reflecting from the flower. But I guess the more yellow it was, the more you loved butter. Kind of weird thing. I just still remember doing that. Anyway, so that's the buttercup. And that's where the columbine flower is part of that family. The tree, I made a note of this one, the tree is the Colorado blue spruce. And here's images of that too. And for all intents and purposes, what do you see? It's a Christmas tree, really. A blue spruce. It's a pine or spruce tree. It looks, you know, I say pine trees. It's got the cones on it. It seems to have like the long pine cones. And here we go. You'll see them a lot in people's front yards here. Which, when I got here, when we first arrived, I was amazed. Look. I was fascinated because people had Christmas trees, live Christmas trees in their garden. I'm used to it now, but I was like, oh my gosh. The only time I've seen Christmas trees is in a parking lot or a car park, as we would say, at Christmas time, and people are selling, you know, the real Christmas trees. But it just, yeah, you see them in the gardens here, and I think it's amazing. I wish I had one. I like look at the needles. I like those. The pine trees we've got out here, a great big, I don't want to say this. They remind me of like toilet brushes. You know, the big bushy pine, prickly needle things. Anyway, so that's our state tree as well. Alright, I think enough chatting about that anyway. I can turn that off for a little while. Let me get sipping my tea before it gets too, excuse me, itchy nose. Before it gets too cold. I do like the smell. Rather interesting is a good word for it. Hold on. I do have allergies still, just making me a bit sniffy. Alright, get on with it, Denise. What we're going to talk about today. Finished objects, works in progress, crochet, show and tell, book talk, girly chatter. Oh, I wonder what we're talking about in girly chatter. And some shop news. So, we'll start with finished objects. Now, I've showed this, I did already show this last week, or the week before I should say, and it was my top. It's not, you know, as I mentioned, it's not the best fit. It's not, I mean, it does look quite wide, and I don't know, it didn't turn out perfect, but that's what I get for adjusting the pattern. It was supposed to be knit two pieces and seamed, and I just did it in the round. It's got this lace pattern on the back. And I have not had a chance to get some model shots yet because we've started to get rain, wet, damp weather kind of thing. Which reminds me, let me insert a little bit of the weather so you can have a look out the window before we move on. It's a very grey, dull kind of day here in Colorado. Forecast for rain all week. Forecast for thunder some days. You might not be able to see unless I'll try and zoom up. Look, the tree has started to get leaves on it. So before long that will be very green. And you can see the glare on the window, but look, the grass is looking pretty green out there with all this rain. But as I said, sky is very gloomy looking. So, it's always nice to stay in on days like this and sit down and chat with you guys. So let's do that. And before we go, look, our tiny little apple trees. One there, he hasn't got leaves on yet, and one there, I've started to get leaves on as well. Oh, and I'm just looking at the forecast there. Don't know if you'll be able to see it. Look at the forecast. Oh, you just missed it. You might not have seen that, but that's the forecast this week. Rain and sometimes thunder. definitely lots of rain, which we always need. And if I've got no plans to go anywhere, I'm fine with it. So what was I saying? That came from this book, Berroco's Indigo yarn, and this was their little booklet with the patterns in it. Let me find it. Here we go. So mine doesn't fit like that, but then I tend not to want my tops that fitted, because then I feel as if they cling to my hips and my stomach and make me look fat. But anyway, it looks really nice. It looks nicer on there, I guess. But it's something I'll still be able to wear, and as I said, I haven't had a chance to get model shots, but I will soon, and I'll either insert them or, you know, I'll refer you to my Rav page when I get a chance to do that. And the indigo yarn, which this, you know, the booklet is a cotton. I've said this many times, but if you're watching, you know, for the first time or you haven't watched it in a while, it's a 95% recycled cotton. 5% is other. So your guess is as good as mine when we figure out what that is. And oh, did you see? Did you see? I've finished my Lawrence sweater, and I haven't got model shots of that yet either. And I don't know whether I'm going to be wearing it this year. I'm going to have to wait till next year, because it is warming up a little, despite the fact that it's grey and rainy this week. But I got the sleeves on the needles and I finished them. This is where I was waiting for. I had to get an extra skein. Honestly, if I had not done the neck as big as it was meant to be, which I don't think it needs to be this big, like more than 11 inches or so, I would have had enough, but I had to go buy an extra skein because I did this quite long, following the pattern. So here it is. Obviously there's the neck, and then I'll turn it that way so you can see. This one is Berroco again. The yarn is Berroco vintage. I'm not sure I like this. I don't think other people's has done this at the bottom. Do you see how it like dips down? I don't think anybody else's has done that, has it? And I haven't blocked this, and I'm not sure whether I need to or should do, because it's just garter stitch. I don't know. You know what? I might try and put it on just to show you. I might have to stand up. We'll see. But it's the neck. I don't like the neck as much. And to be honest, I mean, look at this thing. And to be honest, I think I would have liked a bit thinner yarn, a bit like Tracy did hers. Tracy from Tea Plays Nice podcast. She did hers in a DK weight, and she got, you know, I'm going to have to get the hair out of the way. She got gauge with her DK yarn. See, this to me, I mean, I guess it's nice. Let me get my hair out of the way for a second, because I think when I wear this, I would actually pin my hair up off the neck. And it's just too warm, and it just feels bulky. I mean, it fits. I'm going to stand up in a minute, but that'll mean I'm going to move the camera back for you as well, so that I can, you know, set it down. Oops, sorry. There we go. See, it's wide here. I wish I hadn't increased as much. I'm pulling it behind me now. So it's a little wide, but, alright, hold on. I'm going to move you further back still so that you can kind of see from top to bottom, hopefully. There. Even though it's chopping my head off. I will wear it come the fall or next winter with long sleeves on. I definitely will wear it. What do you think? Does it look good? Kind of looks nice. Huh? I wouldn't knit another one though. I thought I liked garter stitch. But, hold on, sorry guys, I'm going to strip off again as well. When you knit garter stitch in the round, you're not actually just knitting every round, are you? You're knitting and purling. So it was a bit tedious after a while. Even though, you know, there's a little pattern there. Oh, and the pattern if you, I'm sure I did turn around. It's on the back and the front, the same lace. If I could turn it around, front, back. I don't know which is which right now, but there. So it's finished, which means I can put another big thing on the needles. That's what my plan was. Remember? Alright, get the hair on. My hair's a mess today. I know yous are all laughing right now because I'm about the only one that faffs on with our hair. Alright, so that means I can put something else on the needles, and I want it to be a fast knit, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I am planning on, and I'm sure it's in this book as well, remember I said I'd like to do this cardigan, and here it is. Out of this same book that I just did, that Milkweed, the pink top was called Milkweed. This is called Penstemon, and somebody told me where it was and I've already forgot. Was it a flower of some kind? I can't remember now. There's a picture of the pattern, the diamond pattern, which I think runs up. God, it's hard to say because it's kind of navy blue. It runs up here, up the side, up the panels here. From what I can gather, this is knit. The back in the front is knit in, you know, backwards and forwards. It's all one piece, but the panels are knit separately and then sewn to the, you know, the body part. Kind of weird. But I'm going to follow the pattern to, you know, to the letter this time. And I'm hoping that if I get motivated and get it on the needles and, you know, start working on it, I want it finished before I go home in July. So I've got a nice, like, cosy, but not cosy and warm, just a cotton cardigan that's not going to itch and be prickly, but for days when it's a little bit chilly. Many days are like that back home, and if I go down to the beach and it's a bit breezy, I want it for then. If I don't get it finished, then I'm gonna have to buy one. I'll probably buy one. All right, so I've brought the yarn with me again. Same yarn. It's this indigo. I got the exact yarn, but I didn't get the navy blue because I don't like knitting with such a dark yarn. I think it's called, for some silly reason, Boyfriend. I think is that what's on here? I got this colour, which is this cardigan on the front, which I love as well, but that would take me much longer because it's cables. Does it have the colourway on here? Oh, you know, not on this one because I bought this online. Usually if my yarn store puts their label on, it's got the name of it on, and I'm sure for some reason it's called Boyfriend. But it's like a grey denim blue. It's not blue like that. It's not even petrol blue. To me, it's more grey. And I think it's more like that kind of grey. Like that, as opposed to blue. When you put it right up close and the natural light catches it. So that's my goal. Moving on, because I kind of jumped into what I'm going to put on the needles after finished objects. Works in progress. I've got a couple, and I must admit, haven't had a chance to do much knitting. Oh, where's the other one? Oh, they're on the floor here, hold on. I was really pleased with myself because I picked up, and I haven't got the picture of it, I could get it up I guess. I've got the chart in here. I love this thing. So I'm following, I'm using this to follow the chart, and it's great because I don't have to write down what line of the pattern I'm on, because these magnets are really strong and they don't move. So when I close it and everything and then I come back to it, I know I'm still on the same line. It's not like it's moved and, you know, gone around and gone off the wrong, gone on to the other line of the pattern. It doesn't sound right saying line, but I'm sure that's it. Anyway, it is, ta-da! It's called Avalon, and it's a stole. And I started this a year ago, Christmas Eve, so we're well into the 18th, or are we 12? No, about 15 months or 16 months now. And I figured if I want to get this done by Christmas Eve this year, which is going to make it a 2-year project, it's absolutely ridiculous, I better get on with it. I better get some work on it. So I picked it up this past week, and some of last week. I've been working on it, but that's all I've done from here. Since you last saw it, I did put my marker in. Doesn't look a lot, does it? But it's a nice, once I get into it, I do like, I like working on it. And then, in saying that it doesn't look a lot, that's because I had to pull out this much last night. I took it all off the needles because the lattice work had gone wrong. I could tell it somewhere down here had gone wrong, so I had to pull it out. And I must admit, the more I knit on it, the looser I'm getting. Like, I'm really, really loose, but that's okay because I'm going to block the heck out of this thing because I want it like a stole. I want it really, really wide so you can see all of the lattice work, and it'll be thin and drapey. I could even then, that way it could even be like a scarf. So I'm not too worried about it being really, really thin. I can't remember what size I'm using. 4. I'm using a US 4 needle. These are my Knit Picks, not Knit Picks, Knitter's Pride Heart Dreams. These are one of my favourite sets. So I like using these when I can, like the wood needles. I'm using this yarn. I've got 2 skeins. This is how much I've got left of the first skein. I caked it up. So still quite a bit to go, hopefully, because by the time I got this finished, I'm going to know how long it's going to be, because I'll have this one to then use. And again, it's looking a lot more bluey coloured on the screen. It's a lighter, softer, bluish grey. And this is Lioness Arts Silky Sock. It's a 50-50 merino silk blend, light fingering, and it's called Moonlight, the colourway. So it's not like a soft blue. It's quite light for the name Moonlight too, because moonlight would make me think of more like a dark sky, you know, like a darker blue. But this was a gift I've mentioned a few times, so I'll just say briefly. It was a lovely gift on one Christmas Eve, many, many years ago. But I mean, it's easy to pick up. I know where I'm at. It's not like I pick up and then, I hate when I put stuff down for months and then you pick it up and you go, oh gosh, what row was I on of the pattern? And you don't make a proper note. So I'm doing well with that. I always know what row I'm on. That's what I was trying to say. Row, not line. Okay, so that has been mainly what I've been picking up in the evening. I've picked this up a few times. Sorry, I didn't show you a picture, but again, it's called Avalon. And you can find that if you just search on Ravelry. I'll get a picture next time I show you it. I've been working on my handbrake, my handbrake cowl. And I'm sure I'm messing up with this too, but it's going to be for me. I didn't put a marker in, but I'm just going round and round. I'm not even sure how wide this has got to be. I'll have to check the pattern. It might not matter. Excuse me. I might just keep going round and round till I finish the ball of yarn. It's Sandera. Sundera yarn, fingering weight. And I'm still trying to find the label for it. I know I've got it somewhere. Lovely, rusty, deep rust kind of colour, but that's terrible because the natural light, there you go. Natural light is terrible. And you probably all know that the Handbrake Cowl was just released recently by Kay and Dan from the Bakery Bears podcast. And I've heard, well, I read in their group just recently that they have, they charged a pound for the patent, and they've already raised over £800 to go towards cancer research. So it's absolutely amazing, fabulous, and it's just great news. 800 of us. Although some are bought for gifts, so not necessarily 800 people are knitting this, but there's 800 patents being bought. And this is another easy one that I can pick up. I'll keep mentioning this. It's hard for me to see, you can't really see it. I can't see the pattern much on this because I'm using fingering weight, and I think it was mainly done in DK or even a little thicker. So I can't see the pattern, but it's pearl stitches on an angle, you know, like that. And I'm pulling it off the needles. I'm so loose. I'm so loose on when I'm knitting around. Getting a bit crazy. But I never want to go down that many sizes of needles because it'll just take forever. I'll be knitting with a 2 or something to, you know, I don't know. These needles I'm using, which, I mean, they just look like the Knitter's Pride needles I've got, but they're not. These are the, not carbons. These are Knitter's Pride, and this is the Nova Platina. And I really like this. This is a size 3. It's the only one I've got. It's not interchangeable. It's just the, you know, solid circular. And it's got the, I'm not sure if you can see it because it would be blurry. I could never get anything to focus on this phone camera. But it's got the size and that here. And I'm not sure if that'll rub out eventually like some of, you know, like they do on the other needles. But I really like it. I like the needle. It's quite light, I think. So I like it better than the carbons, and I was really enjoying the carbons too, but I like those better. And let me see, what else do I have? Oh yeah, I don't think I've picked this up since I was chatting to you last. It is the, what's it called? Quite Continental. And again, I don't have a picture, and I haven't been printing them out. I've just got the, you know, the lace pattern. This is by Boo Knits. It's a shawl called Quite Continental, and I'm using a very, very, very bright, yes, it's that bright, yellow. I put it on a longer needle now, so I might have done a few rows of the pattern since I chatted with you. And it's got beads, and as you can see, I'm going with this like golden bead, and I can't wait. I think I've put this down because I picked up that Avalon, but I really want to work on this because one thing I love, and I don't knit very many shawls, but what I do love about the shawls with that lace in, I love when you get to block them and they just change completely. A lot of times, you know, they're all bunched up like this. The last one I did looked like a fishing net. I mean, it was just so crunched up and all lacy. And then you block it and it's, oh, it was lace I was using that time. This is, it'll still block nice and soft, but this is fingering weight, which I didn't know, but I went with anyway. It's from Leading Men Fibre Arts, and that's Steve from Dramatic Knits. Him and his partner have Leading Man Fibre Arts, the dyeing company. I'm using just some size 6 beads. You can see a glare in the box. So I haven't picked it up because of the Avalon, as I said, but that is a current work in progress. And it's in my lovely Twisted Fibre studio bag, which kind of, I just love these colours. And it matches because it's yellow inside. And so that's all I've really worked on. Not even done any sock knitting, to be honest. Let's see. So I think that will take me into some show and tell. I'll just show you I showed you the teas, and I also got some other tea which I'm dying to try, but I didn't try it today. When I got these sent, I got some other little things in this package, and they're just absolutely adorable. I love little packages that make me smile, especially when I'm having a hard time smiling some days. I feel really bad admitting that too. I mean, I know I come across as a really positive and, you know, enthusiastic person, and I am for the most part, but I'm human as well, and I've just been having some down days, I really have. But anyway, look at this cute card. And the envelope is look at the envelope, it's got a little button on it. So I got this little cute card, and it was a lovely surprise because I did not know it was coming, the Kit Kat, I didn't have any idea. And so what came with it, and I'm dying to try, Teapigs. Seriously, this is Teapigs is the company or the brand. It says rhubarb and ginger, and it's loose leaf tea. Oh, I can't wait to try it. I always want to wait and try it with you guys. Naturally caffeine free. Oh, it's not loose, it's tea bags. 2 biodegradable tea temples. Oh, they must be little triangles. But you know what, I haven't even opened it because I wanted to show you the package. Bucket and spade. I'll be using one of them. I go to the beach this year when I go home. I love playing in the sand with a bucket and spade. Hang on. Oh, I'm having to tear off the writing though. What's special about this tea? Crumble in a cup. Give us rhubarb and give us ginger. Then we put them in a tea temple, and here we have it. A super wow zesty rhubarb with a sweet ginger kick. Rhubarb lovers, this is for you. Reminds me of, every time I say rhubarb, I want to say rhubarb and custard, which is a dessert. We eat rhubarb and custard, but there was a kids' show years and years ago called Rhubarb and Custard. Isn't it? Yes, it was a cat and a dog. Oh, I smell the ginger. I smell the ginger more than the rhubarb, but look at these little things. So it's calling it a temple, but it's one of these little pyramid-y kind of tea bags. And honestly, it looks, if you can see, it looks like chunks of rhubarb, and it looks like a topping you could put on your crumble, rhubarb crumble. Oh, I love rhubarb crumble. I'm waffling. But anyway, so that came with the Kit Kats, and this sweet little packet of tissues came. Isn't that adorable? These came, which I'm going to carry around in my purse. And I got a couple of little, I've got a, oh, look at that, friendship. Isn't that sweet? A little magnet for the fridge, friendship, and a lovely little keyring. That's what friends are for. And the little black sheep there knitting. And the white sheep sharing our wool with him. She's going to end up, oh, he's going to end up naked. So, that was some of my show and tell as well. It was a lovely little gift, and thank you again. Thank you. And this is not new, but I showed you this the other week, and what's the hair doing? I don't know if I'll get it on the needles anytime soon, but I was wanting to. But here I go, I want so much on the needles, I'm not going to get anything done. I showed you these when I'd gone down to the local yarn store a couple of weeks ago. I picked up this cotton for a pattern. I already forgot the name of it. I hope it's in my favourites. I'll have to ask my LYS owner, because she was knitting it at the time. So I got these. I only need 4 of the main colour, and it's just a little top, and then when you get to here, like above your chest, it's like a lattice lace pattern, and then I'm going to do that in the pink, and there's no sleeves. So again, I thought that would be a nice quick knit, but if I've got lots of other things I'm doing, I'm not going to pick it up as often as I would like. And I think I showed you these. I bought these when I was there too, in the sale. 50% off. So originally 8, and I got them for $4 each. and I've picked up 3 because that's all she had. And that colour is kind of quite true, like a fleshy pink, I want to say. Maya, I would say Mia, but you wouldn't know what I was saying. Maya. 85% Pima cotton, and there's a 15% baby alpaca in there. Well, you know, I can't knit something without it having alpaca, obviously. Because I love alpaca. That doesn't feel like there's alpaca in it. It doesn't even look like there's alpaca in it. So, because there's so much cotton, I'm sure that's not going to be an itchy yarn. And I'm not sure if I actually had something in mind for this, or if I just said I would be able to make a cowl, or I can't remember now, but I just grabbed it because it was on sale, but I'm sure I had something, I said something I would be able to knit. I might have to just look on Ravelry and see what's been knit with this particular yarn. So, that's basically all the show and tell, guys. Let me see what we're moving into. Oh, a little book talk, which I didn't bring any books with me because, oh, and I didn't bring the other thing. I'm gonna get it. I have not read this week either, or this past week. Book club in the neighbourhood is this Wednesday, and the book was called Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Forgot who wrote it. It's upstairs. I haven't read it. I started listening to the audio from the library. I downloaded it and it was on my iPad Kindle thing. And I would have carried on listening, but then I went to, it kind of ran out. I think you only get them for 21 days. And I couldn't renew the audio. And I've got the book, so I was going to, I'll just try and read it. But I haven't been able to pick it up. So I'm not going to end up reading it in time. I know I'm not. So I haven't read that. I haven't picked up my tea room fiction book. So if you've not tuned in for a little while, you won't know what I'm talking about because I didn't bring them to show you. But just not had much time for reading. I'm going to grab another magazine though, so hold on. I might just let that run and then I'll edit it out. And I've got some other magazines here that I'll just flick through with you. Alright, I've got another magazine I just wanted to go through. I recently bought that one. While we're on the subject with books, I need to get this started as well because we're having a read-along with Tracy in the Tea Plays Nice podcast. I think we've got till the end of May, and from the sounds of it, most people have already finished it. I wish I could find more time to get stuck into things like this. So one of my goals is I've got to get that started. Magazines. I bought this the other day. Freezer meals. I mean, we all make meals and we all freeze some of them, or we freeze leftovers and etc. We do all of that. But I saw this the other day and I was flicking through it and I liked, that quite looks nice on the front. When I was flicking through, I liked seeing some of the things that it's telling you you can deliberately make and then freeze. And it'll tell you how long, really, that you can freeze stuff for. Let me see. It was I just found it, like, inspiring to, make things and package them up and label them specifically, and not just shove, not it be leftovers. It's got a 1-week dinner planner, which I thought kind of looked good, and you can do all of these and deliberately freeze them. So the first one was for Monday is cheeseburger calzones. Now, when we talk about meat, I've been saying I've not been eating as much. I must admit I've been eating a little bit more again with the family. I got some ground beef the other day. I made tacos with it, but it was the grass-fed beef. I was still trying to, keep it a good quality, or as and when I can. So I like these. They look yummy. And I also thought, because I'm leaving in July for 3 weeks with Kiki, having some things like this in the freezer would be great for hubby. Because then he can just pull homemade food out and not have to keep going, because I know he would. He doesn't have to keep going to the drive-thru on his way home from work and grabbing a burger and fries, which he would be tempted to do. But if I say there's things like this that he can grab, or he can take them out the night before, and then when he comes home just pop them in the microwave or the oven again, that's a nice thing. There's a stuffed chicken breast for Tuesday, which I don't know if I would do. Then there's more burgers, but these are stuffed. Oh, sorry, I'm hitting the thing. These are stuffed as well. And what was Wednesday? No, Thursday was a stuffed pork tenderloin. I probably wouldn't make this for a while, if ever, because my guys, that's not something they would want to eat, to be honest. And Friday, stuffed sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes, but wouldn't you agree a sweet potato heart like this is more like a side dish and not a dinner? I mean, that's what you would have on Friday. You'd need more than that. That's more like a little lunch snack. But anyway, I wanted to read. I haven't read it all properly to see it. Like, how would I prepare them and then freeze them? Because I love the idea of having those in the freezer. Because I love sweet potato. Saturday, I mean, I've done something like this before, but again, just as a good reminder, like, oh yeah, I should make some burritos. Here we go. You can make lots of different kinds of burritos, even breakfast burritos. I used to make breakfast burritos and freeze those and use a recipe from the Pioneer Lady. Oh, that was good. And Sunday, a stuffed turkey tenders. Again, I probably wouldn't do that for my guys. But as well as that, then you've got, oh, I like the idea of this, which I've probably done before. When you do a big batch of ground beef or turkey, ground turkey, or it says pork. You season it all, and then you'll bag up this meat and have it in portions in the freezer. And then the next page shows you different recipes that you can do with that ground beef. So you can make sloppy joes, or I don't think we have sloppy joes in England. Sloppy joe in England, if you're listening in England, it's ground beef, you know, it's mince, as we call it, it's mince meat. And it's in a gravy-ish, but not a drippy gravy, it's like a thick gravy. It could be like a barbecue-y sauce kind of coating gravy. These are called salsa joe, so it's probably got some salsa, tomatoey salsa in with it. And so it's this it's this gravy-ish, thick gravy mincemeat, and then you slop it, you pour it into a bun. And that's why it's called sloppy joe, because it's kind of sloppy to eat. But then you've got, again, more easy burritos you can make once you've taken this meat out of the freezer. You've got a soup. What kind is that? Meaty veg. And then you've got burgers. I would do this for my guys. Burger and fries casserole. They would totally love that. I would too, actually. And again, I'm not sure if we have tater tots in England. These are tiny little potatoes with they've been fried, pre-cooked, a bit like frozen fries. So I've been enjoying looking through. I just haven't done anything in it yet, and made a note of it, of what I would do. There's lots of recipes for the soups where you can put everything together and bag up the soups and have those in the freezer, and then it'll tell you what kind of stock to use, and then your bag of frozen stuff. Simple as that. Add your stock and then defrost your frozen stuff, frozen ingredients. Split pea, that's a pepper and basil tortellini, and a portobello soup, which is with the mushrooms. And there's even more soups on the other side. But anyway, I don't want to spend too long. I've been spending way too long on that, haven't I? What's this one? Hold on. Yeah, I should read this when I've gone. Oh, again, it's a bit like doing the mince. You can do pulled pork or something like that. Freeze portions, and then when it comes out, it tells you what you can use it with. You know, like barbecue sandwiches or little sliders, things like that. So, yeah, I know. Just fast forward if you don't care for this. It then actually tells you how to make your own frozen dinners. Not just like a bag of, stuff, but put a little dinner together like you buy in the store when it's got little different compartments. TV dinners, they call them here. It tells you what, you know, some ideas, and you freeze them. If you can portion them like this, it says you don't have to, but I think they've just used foil to make little compartments. And you freeze it all like that, and then you can just shove it straight in the oven from frozen, you know, like you would pop one in the microwave. But you obviously wouldn't with this because it's a foil dish, not the microwave safe dishes. But they've got that with chicken and wild rice and then green beans in a compartment. Then they have an Indian butter chicken with some rice and cauliflower. So I wouldn't mind trying to do these too, just for all of us at any time, where I can just say, oh, tonight I'm going to pop these in the oven. Here's one, it's with bacon meatloaf. So you've got meatloaf and pasta in a sauce and then veggies. So I just, flicking through it, I saw all of this, and that's what got me, you know, wanting to try some spicy cashew ginger chicken. I'll have to try, I'll keep you posted on whether I've made a batch of freezer food. And then I'll just quickly show you these. I'm not going to go through them then. But I do love magazines, food magazines, and we get some good ones over here. And in fact, I picked these up at the library for free. They just give you magazines. You know, I've told you I go in the library and they've got a little bookstore where you can buy the used books for £1, $1. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm getting ready to go home. £1. $1 for hardbacks, 50 cents for a paperback. If there's magazines on the shelf, you can just take them. So, and then, you know, if I'm finished with them, I would take them back and put them on the shelf and somebody else would take them. So they're old magazines, but these are Simple and Delicious, it's called. And then this one, I like this magazine, Taste of Home. And it's just got some, they've always got easy, so like easy meals, 10 and 20, 30-minute meals. And I love meals where you don't even really have to follow the recipe. It just reminds me like, oh yeah, we haven't had quesadillas for dinner for a while. That's an easy one, I'll do that. Tuna melts, I love a tuna melt, but my guys, well, Kristen likes tuna, I think. Hubby doesn't like fish and tuna stuff. So I just picked them up for free. Waffling on too much, I've got to the end of the first 40-something minutes probably. Anyway, so I've been looking through them. I'm adding this bit into the show and tell because I just, after I stopped and I was recharging the phone, I realised I hadn't shown you the yarn that I had dyed this past week, finally, using beetroot. I finally got around to dyeing some yarn I'd bought months ago specifically to dye. It was a natural colour. And here it is. And this is with beetroots. I would love to say they were from my garden, but we're not growing any. But that's how it came out. Obviously it doesn't even look red, it's more like a salmon-y colour, but not even a bright salmon. It's probably a bit brighter there on screen. So yeah, I mean, what I need to do, I've rinsed it and till there was nothing coming out, there was no dye coming out. But I don't know if the next time I wet it, more dye will come out. I'm going to cake it up and see about knitting something with it. It's a merino cashmere blend. I don't know how much cashmere is in it. I'll have to double check because I just bought it on Etsy, on a little store that was selling, you know, yarn that you could dye yourself. So I just thought I'd show you that because I'd forgot to. So this is show and tell. I'll cake it up and see about just putting something simple on the needles, like maybe a pair of fingerless gloves or a small cowl or something like that. So I would try it again. I also want to try dyeing with onion skins or even tea. I just want to try some natural, you know, elements and see what I get out of it, because I don't plan on becoming a dyer and getting into all the ins and outs of the acid dyes and what all that. That's not me. I just thought this would be fun, so there you go. And I think, oh, more chatter because there's no knitting left. I'm into girly chatter now. And I was going to, and I'm going to make this pretty fast too because I'm probably waffling on way too much. Of course, girly chatter, I'll chat about home and a couple of other things. So I don't know if I've told yous, but I booked the flights. I've booked our flights to home. We fly on July 6th and we get there in Newcastle on July 7th. It's always the next year, early the next year, which is kind of like during the night for us. So the flight is, and I had a friend, my friend in Canada who is now a travel agent. She helped me and, she actually bought the tickets for me. I talked to her online and gave her the credit card. And she actually saved me about $250, I think, not quite $300. And I was looking at the same flights online. I'd come up with the same flights and said, this is what I'm looking at. And when she looked at them, she said, yeah, this is what it'll cost. And I don't know where she gets them or who she bought them through, but it was $200 odd less than what I was finding when I was looking online. So the fun part, I'm excited because we're flying from Denver to Newark on the East Coast, which is in New Jersey, which I've never done before. Normally, I'm sure the other year I went Denver straight to Heathrow, and then from Heathrow I have to get a little flight up to Newcastle. It's about an hour's flight. And that's what I was looking for. I just want 2 flights. I want to get on a flight, get off 7 or 8 hours later, and then just have a little connection, wait an hour or so in Heathrow and get the flight up north. But this way, we're going from Denver to New Jersey, East Coast, like 3 hours flight. And then I think we have a 2 or 3 hour layover, which is okay. I'd rather that than it be, some of the flights were 45 minutes for your connection. It's like, there's no way I'm only leaving 45 minutes. Because if that plane from Denver to Newark is late, then you're panicking and you're like, I'm not going to make the connection. I'm not going to make it. I've done it before. And you're running down, you're running to catch the next connection. And so it's easy. If there's any delays, I'm not concerned. I'm not stressed. And me and Kristen could just relax and, have some lunch in the airport and stuff like that. Have a look around. And it leaves Newark at 7:20 at night, which is, for us, we're after midnight in England on the Saturday morning. On the Tuesday morning because we fly on Monday. So we fly at 7:20 at night, and it's only like a 7 hours something flight. And when we get off the plane, guess what? I'm not even in London, Heathrow, Gatwick, anyway. I'm in Newcastle. We fly from Denver to Newark, from Newark to Newcastle. I'm super excited. So 2 flights. Plenty of time for the connection in between, and once we're on that second flight, the international flight, where you get to watch movies and they bring you dinner, and it's a much more relaxing flight than just a domestic from one state to the other here. We'll be getting off in the morning for their time. It'll be night time for us and we might be tired, but I find that the adrenaline is running through me so much I don't even go to bed when I get there. I actually managed to go all day and go to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock that night. So I would have been up for well over 24 hours, but it's easy to do when you're so excited and, So super, super excited about that. Fingers crossed for me, please, or say prayers, because we renewed the passports, but they're not in our hands just yet. We renewed them a couple of weeks ago, I think just after the last time I recorded. We managed to go to the local post office where they did them, got photos taken, did all of that. Oh my gosh, it's not cheap. It was $100 odd to renew my passport. I just was expecting like a $25 fee or something. And then Kristen needed hers done, $80 odd, and then you had to pay for the photos because the post office took them for you. Then you have to pay the post office for a handling fee. Oh my gosh. But anyway, it's done, and it's all just going to be so worthwhile. So that's going on, and I've been looking around. Oh, the train to London is booked. We're going to London on July the 11th. I'm so excited. And we're going to go stay overnight, and then, you know, we'll have 2 days there, because the train back is not the next day. It's the next day, but not till 7 o'clock. So it's a full day, second full day in England, in London. So I'm super excited about that. And I don't know if I mentioned, I'm going to try to take Kristen to a show, and I want to try and take her to see the Lion King musical in the West End. So that's all going to plan so far. And one of the other things, and I'll just show you pictures. Here's the little American versus England thing. I know I've been talking recently with Michelle, a sweet friend, and she did ask me a couple of weeks ago if there was a difference between fairy cakes and cupcakes. And I thought I would chat and show you that, to me, there is a difference, and it's mainly for the look. I was reading up online this morning, and there is also, I mean, there's debates about this. What's a cupcake? What's a fairy cake? There is also sometimes a slight difference in the recipes, but for the most part, a fairy cake is, to me, it's just, a fairy cake is a small cupcake. And I'm talking about, when I say small, it's like there's not a ton of icing or frosting shoved on the top of it. Fairy cakes are what I used to make when I was little. When your mum used to, before she even had electric mixers, you'd get a big bowl, a wooden spoon, and you'd cream your butter and sugar together. And then you would add a little egg and a bit of flour at the same time, so that the egg didn't curdle. And you made it, that's how you made basically a basic sponge cake, a Victoria sponge recipe, that kind of thing. When I Googled or put in cupcakes, no, fairy cakes, just out of, you know, just so you've got a visual, these are the things that come up that are more, I'm reminiscent of fairy cakes for me as a kid in England. And it's more like, see, we just use icing, confectioner's sugar, call it here, icing and water. And you'll make that once your cake has cooled down, and you can either drizzle it like that over the top, and then you add sprinkles, very simple and plain, or, you know, here's another one, oops, oh, no, that's not what I wanted, where to go, fairy cakes. Here's another one where, again, just thinnish icing, where it'll drizzle a little, it'll run slightly. Or you can make it slightly thicker where it doesn't run as much, and you can get the whole cake covered, the top of it. But it's not frosting, it's not what we call frosting, it's icing. And then, see, this is more frosting, swirly, or that can be buttercream, which, you know, we've used. And when I'm talking about your buttercream, you know, your butter and your icing sugar, we used to make things like these, and we would call them butterfly cakes, because you would scoop out a little centre of the cake, you know, a little circle, and then that little lid you'd slice in half and make butterfly wings, and you would pipe in there the buttercream, which is just the ice and sugar and the butter, not cream cheese frosting. And the battery's a bit low again, so we're going to have to get a move on. And then, so to me, it's all, mainly it's a visual, and it's a, oh, we used to make these as kids because they're smaller and there's not a ton of frosting, so the kids aren't getting hyped up on sugar, kind of thing. And then when you Google, or when I look for pictures of cupcakes over here, they start to get piled high with frosting, you know, more frosting on the top. Not a ton all the time, I'm trying to find some big ones, but like they have red velvet cake, and they will have little carrot cakes or chocolate cakes, and we do chocolate fairy cakes, but I'm trying to find one where, like the ones Kristen likes, I mean, look at all of that frosting shoved on the top. Gosh, they've got little sweets coming out the centre of that. Oh, look, tiny little M&Ms, good grief. I did see, I'm trying to look for it, there was a really good one. Oh, look at this. There was a nice one with Starbucks salted caramel on the top and everything, but I mean, we wouldn't call that a fairy cake. That is a quite over-the-top cupcake full of frosting and peanut butter cup stuck on the top and a cherry. And so there is a slight difference to me when I think about it. Here they are, look. Oh. But I wouldn't argue with anybody and say that's a cupcake and not a fairy cake, or that's a fairy cake, not a cupcake. To me, the fairy cakes were, when we were kids, we'd make them and the icing was so much more simple. You know, a little bit of water, icing sugar, you can even, and then we would colour it, we'd put a little drop of red in, it would turn it pink, which I loved, and then the little sprinkles, we'd call them. Last one, promise. Cookie Monster, that's funny. But anyway, so that is our, and I think you can get boxes. I'm going to have to bring tons of stuff like this home. You can get boxes of little fairy cake mixture over there, and it'll come with the package of, you know, to make the icing and that, I think, and the little decorations inside of boxes. I've seen them for kids. I'm going to have to bring things like that I haven't seen over here for a long time. All right, I don't know how long this battery is going to last, so I might charge it up a little bit because I want to go into a little bit of shop news and show you some of the bags that I'm going to try and get in the shop this week. So I'll be right back. All right, shop news. I've got some bags to put in the shop. I'm going to try and do that today. I don't know what the lighting's going to look like to take the pictures. Let me adjust that a bit because it's quite dull here. But I don't want to delay getting them on, so I'll just see what they come out like and post them. So I was going to show you some bags. And I'll get into, once I've shown you these, that was Bindi snoring. I'll get into, I've been trying to think about another little incentive, and I'll get into that after I've just shown you these quickly and show you what's going to go into the shop in a few hours' time. So to start off with, this is a brand new size. I've only done one. It is in the shop already, and I'm probably going to try and do more this week of this size. It's drawstring, and I've got handles on for carrying, but because I've done a large, I've tried to make it like a sweater size. It's quite large. I need to tell you what the size is. I guess I think I wrote it down. I've actually padded, I've put interfacing the fleecy, heavyweight fleece on the chevron on the bottom of the bag, so that it stands on its own. I can just let that flop a bit. It'll stand on its own, so it's easy to, if it wants to still, it's easy to kind of, as I would say, shove your project in. Oops. So, yeah, it's going to stand like that, and it's going to draw at the top really easy because there's not interfacing there, and it's just got the cord. You can just use it as a kind of tote and not use the drawstrings. You know, you can get a lot of it in like that. But that's the one I've already put in, and I'm hoping to get some more done in different fabrics in this size for sweaters. I don't really have any sweaters with me. I have this is just a thin cardigan, so you could put your small project in here, and then, for instance, like I have my black cardigan that I generally wear. It's just a lightweight, a board cardigan. But you have a small project in here, and your keys and your purse. I've put a cardigan in, and look, it's way down there. That's how big this bag is. So lots of room to get other, it's hard to show it inside, isn't it? To get other project bags in there, or even larger projects, you know, like when you're starting your sweater off, or blankets even. And that reminds me, I did not show you crochet, did I? But it looks very similar, so I'm going to get into that next week. I'll show you next week. So that's in the shop now, and let me see if I've got a size on there for you. I'll just quickly try and go to Etsy. Slow, slow, slow. Here we go. Come on, wake up. It will have the dimensions. Okay. Alright, it's 14 inches wide and it's 17 inches high lying flat, so from here to the top, which is still, obviously, it's even if it's standing, it's 17 inches high. And there's a picture. It's kind of hard to get pictures of the big bags without just getting the background and stuff in, so there it is. And I have put it in the shop again, but giving you a choice of some fabrics I have, so you can take a look at that. I've also got two of the same fabric. This is a cream colour. This is not white, it's cream, aqua and cream. So I've got two small sock bag sizes going in. They'll go into deer. The inside again is the grey polka dot, and there's this grey polka dot. Yeah, I got grey polka dot for that. That's going in. There's another small sock size here, or shawl size. They're quite large for socks. So you can get other projects in them. So there's that one going in. These will have little beaded pulls on them. I haven't done that yet. And let's see, I've got, this is going in and it needs the drawstring. And this will be discounted. There'll be a couple, I think, discounted. Actually, it's going to be one of these bags because, let's see if I can see it. I can't find it now. Maybe so I was seeing things. I thought there was a tiny little mark on the fabric and I did not want to, you know, if you could see it. But if I can't see it, then there's maybe I was seeing things. Maybe it was on some other fabric. Maybe not then. But this will be discounted because I was just not totally happy with how, if I hold it like that, how it wasn't straight across the bottom, kind of curved. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine, but I do, so you'll have a little discount on this sock sack. And then I've got another little tote. I've got a large tote here for the summertime, and it will have the magnetic clasp. I haven't got that done yet, but this is in a lovely lemon and lime kind of fabric. And this is more like the canvas as opposed to the quilters, like just the soft cotton duck canvas or something they call it. And it's got pockets in the same fabric here on this side, and I've actually added, if I can show you, I've added an extra pocket. Wish I could show you this bit. It's a long deep pocket, and I don't know if I've moved the book, so I know this one's not. Oh, here it is. I thought because it's a summertime bag, I've made a pocket to stick your book in, you know, so you can take your book and your knitting with you somewhere. So it's a perfect size for this a paperback. So see, so there's that will go in once I've got the magnetic clasp on, so that will be there. And if I get a chance, I think I'm going to be doing a little notions pouch or little coin purse to go with this, to, you know, it'll come with that. And then I've been making a few little, what I call sock totes. Sock totes. Instead of the drawstring for socks, or even shawls really, it's the size is good enough. Instead of the drawstrings and that, I've made a few little, what I call a sock tote. It's like a little tote. It's just on a much smaller size, of course. You see how babyish, how baby size it is. And it's going to have a button. I'm waiting for buttons. So it's going to have a little button to fasten. There's no pockets in it, it's just simply for, and I need to finish this off. As I said, it's simply to throw in, I don't even have my projects. Yeah. So it's kind of like having a zippered bag, but it's got handles, and it stands alone. So it's just, you know, you can just throw your little project in. Oh, and I need to keep my thing for the beads. And you can fasten it. Just kind of cute. And obviously, because it's interfaced, it's going to stand up. So when you're knitting with it, it's going to stand like that and just act as a little basket for your yarn. I have to swap this around because I've put the label there, but the bag's going to have the button here. So I want the label, I want my Kikiboo to be facing that way. So that will get changed before I list it. Then I have one in this kind of fabric. And that's going to have a button here, probably a wooden button. It's going to just fasten if you wanted to. And this was the first one I made. Let's see. I like to stand them up. I did this first, and it's cute little roses. But instead of making a fabric tie, I was going with the cord. But then I decided I think I like the fabric tie better. But this one's already made, so it will come with the button on there and it's just the cord. But because I haven't used the fabric and I was playing around with the last of the material I've got for the same thing, I made a little coin purse and I'm gonna put that with that. Same price as those ones, but you're getting a little extra there because I didn't put the fabric one on. But it's still cute. I love this little one. I think I might have to do one for me, and I like to use what I sell so that I can see whether or not, you know, if they're, what's the word? Can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. I just like to use what I've made so that I know that you should be happy with them. If I'm happy with them, I'm hoping other people are happy with them. And I might try to make myself a bigger one of these with the cute Australian fabric, because this was actually sent to me a while ago as a gift. It was some fabric for me, which I've never had the chance to get around to sewing myself something. So I thought I would do, I know I had extra. If I make myself a bag, I'll still have extra. So I did one for the shop. You can see the dingoes and the kangaroos. Is that a wombat? I think that's a wombat. I'm guessing. And there's the koala. He's my favourite. I love the koala bears. They're so cute. And there's an emu, and there's let's see, cockatiel, is that? Oh, the kookaburra. There's a kookaburra. You have me singing that song soon, kookaburra. So those are going to be in, and I'm going to try to do some more this week. And lastly, I know I've showed you this before, excuse me, which is, you know, I'm using to stick all of my crochet hooks in. I'm going to make one for my DPNs. And so I made, it's a little bit smaller, I've made one, I'm going to put it in the shop, and then obviously you can personalise it, you can tell me what initial you want on, and I will give some other options for the fabric. I think I'm going to make it a little deeper than this one, but not as big and deep as that, just maybe it's another 3/4 of an inch or so. It might end up as tall as this, but it's not as long. But anyway, this is great for, as I said, crochet hooks. I don't keep mine all organised in size. I just put them all in it's like a pencil case. I just like to shove them all in one spot and pull them out when I want to find a size. So that's going to go in, but there'll be some options, you know, for your different listings. So as I was saying, I'm trying to think of an incentive, I guess, so that you come shopping at Kikiboo Bags. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, which is not last week, but I've mentioned this trip home. it's going to mean a lot to me because I'm taking, as you know, I'm taking my daughter who was 14. She was there when she was 7 and she can hardly remember the trip, and she can't really remember, you know, her cousins and aunts and uncles. She does know my sister Brenda more because Brenda has come here for visits, but she can probably barely remember any time spent with my mum, her nana. So it's going to mean a lot because I want that time. I want the three of us, you know. My sister and all of her kids get that every single day, every week. It's not something I've been able to share with my mom. So I'm trying my hardest to earn a little extra spending money, as I've said before. And this is the way I can do it, by sewing more than I had intended. I was going to put the sewing machine away. But if I sew some more and put bags in the store, not just you guys, but I think the majority of my customers are you guys, and I really appreciate that. Obviously, there's other people that surfing around Etsy will find, you know, something they like in my shop and they'll buy it. But just my way of asking you personally if you're in the market for a bag or stitch markers or Zeded Bupper pills, because I'm going to try to get some of them in there this week. I just want to encourage you to kind of have a look in Kiki-Boo bags as well if you're shopping around. So, excuse me, I'm getting an itchy nose again. I'm going to offer still, and just between me and you, the free Zeded Bupper pill if you put in the notes when you buy a bag, free ZBP or ZBP if you're in England. I will still offer that this week, everything that's going in the shop. I've also tried to think of an extra incentive, and I've come up with, and I hope this is not going to upset some people, the Kiki-Boo kits that I plan on making. I'm going to obviously try to start them before I go away to England, because when I come back it's going to be nearly August, and I hope at some time in August or beginning September at the latest I want to offer these kits. I'm going to stick with about 30 like I've done in the past, and in the past I have said that I can't really take pre-orders. So here's the bit where I hope it doesn't upset some people. I'm going to offer 10 slots for a pre-order of a kit. If you obviously have to do something first, you have to buy from my shop. If you spend over $50 or more, actually no, I'm going to say 45, because that way you would only need to buy one big tote, which is around about $45. Or you could, you know, you'll buy 2 bags, or you'll buy a bag of something else. If you are going to spend $45 or more between now and my vacation holiday, if you want, I'll put your name down for a kit. But I'm only going to do that 10 times. 10 times. And you have to tell me that you are interested in putting your name down. Now, that's not to say you are committing to buy it. You don't have to buy it. If in the next couple of months you realise, like, I don't have the money to do that, or I don't need one, I've changed my mind, that's fine. I'm not asking you to put any down payment or any deposits down. I'm just, as a huge thank you to you for supporting my trip home, so to speak, I will put your name down for a pre-order. If recently I've told you that I'm not going to take any pre-orders, this is your way of getting on the top 10, so to speak, if you want to spend. I feel kind of, don't feel fully comfortable saying this, but I really, really want to try and get extra money to make this trip extra special. Just to spend some quality time and do some fun things with my mum. And because she's old, you know, I want to take her somewhere that's nice and comfortable, because she's obviously she's in a wheelchair. She's 90, she's going to be 90, so we have to take a wheelchair, so we have to pick and choose where we can take her. Unfortunately, we can't take her to London. It's just too long a trip, too awkward with the wheelchair, getting on and off the tube, you know, trying to find a hotel that does actually cater to, you know, wheelchair accessible. I would have loved to have took her to London. I don't even think she's ever been to London. She's 90 years old, she lives in England, and she probably has never, I don't think she has, ever been to London. But because I can't take her to London, I do want to take her to anywhere else I can get her. And that would mean I definitely want to try and take her to York and stay a night in a nice hotel. And so all of that's going to cost a little more money than I would normally plan on spending when I go home. So I'm going to try and not feel bad about saying, hey, come to my shop and spend some money, please. And if you do, you don't have to spend a certain amount, you just have to buy a bag if you want a free Zeta Bupper pill. But if you do spend $45 or more, and that's not including shipping, that's just on the bags and the, you know, combination of what your sales are, stitch markers, etc. And you are interested in a kit, then I'll put your name down. Once the 10 slots have gone, that's it. The other 20, I'm going to try and make 30 kits. The other 20 will just go up on the day to give everybody else a chance if anybody wants them. With that said, before it pops out of my head, what was I going to say? Oh, if you've spent, so I don't expect to get 10 of you all rushing to spend $50, $45, but if I've already got the 10 slots filled and you've bought $45 or more worth and you've told me you want a pre-order and I've already got the 10 filled, I will give you a refund if your sole purpose was buying bags to support me and to try and get, you know, a pre-order of the special kit. I'll give you a refund of the money if you said, well, I don't want to buy anything now if I can't get a pre-order. So not to worry about that. Nothing, you're not committing to anything. You just have a chance to pre-order, which I've never really offered before on the kits, but I'm going to offer 10, if that all makes sense. Hopefully it does. And so, with that, I'm going to talk about the bag again, because I've got my little notebook here. Every time my sister calls, I'm jotting things down about what we want to do. And I'll eventually maybe try and put some pictures in. And then I'll not fill it that much, but once we get there, I'm going to turn the book around and I'm going to use it this way. I'll turn the cover around. And I'm going to use it as a daily diary of what we've done each day. Because I always, honestly, you'll forget from one day to the next. Like, what did we do 3 days ago? Where did we go? And so one of the things I've started putting things like this down too, look. Things I want to do. Not going to cost any money, these ones, but making special memories, baking with Mum. It just came to me the other day that Kristen can get to bake with my mum and make the fairy cakes or the sausage rolls and stuff in her kitchen like I did. I'll be right back. Stupid hormones, sorry. Anyway, there's no point talking about that. Sorry. I probably have to edit this bit because I look a mess. Alright. So the kits, it's going to take a long time to do these bags because I want to make them a one of a kind 30 times. The problem I'm having is I can't find this fabric anymore. Seriously can't find it. My local sewing shop is where I got this. They have no more. I cannot find it on Etsy. I can't find it anywhere online. What a mess. So I'm going to have to rethink the background. I still would like to try and keep it with a cupcake theme though, or maybe it's tea and cake, teapots and cake. I don't know. Hopefully I can find something. They are going to be made like this, shabby chicy Union Jack. I absolutely love this. The camera keeps cutting off, so I need to get this finished. So yeah, as I was saying, they're going to have this shabby chic look. As of right now, once I decide on fabric, the lovely Michelle from Dancing Dog Dye Works is going to dye up some fabulous matching yarn that will come with the kit. There may be, and nothing is 100% yet, but there may be a toy pattern. There'll be some note cards with a London theme. There'll be a Zeded Bupper pill included. There might be stitch markers. I'm not sure whether I'll do both. Probably stitch markers as well. What else was there? Oh, I've been looking at Harrods website, you know, the big Harrods store in London, and they've got some super sweet souvenirs, quite affordable. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get something from there, but there'll definitely be some other Englishy goodies in the bag, you know, little extras. And if it's not possible to get something for every kit, I definitely am going to be bringing something from Harrods to have as a giveaway when I get home. I've got to do that. I know there'll be something I can bring back. So I'm going to look forward to doing that giveaway. But I think I'm just trying to tell you offhand, you know, the plans for what would be in the bag if you're interested in trying to grab a pre-order. So I think that is everything. Sorry about the blubbering bit there. I didn't mean to do that. But I think that's everything. So I hope I didn't waffle on too much. I lose track of how long I've been doing this when I have to hit stop and start on the camera. I do want to thank you for sitting down and letting me waffle on. I missed you guys last week, and I don't know, these podcasts seem to be getting full of chatter and not much knitting, but we have to take it as it comes. If I've knit a lot, I can show you. If I haven't, I can't. But I know you, most of you, enjoy sitting down chatting no matter what it's all about. So I appreciate that. I do hope you have a wonderful week. I hope we get some sunshine in the next few days. I hope you do too. And I hope you come back next week and join me in the knitting den. Hey guys.